Vice Chair of the Provo Design Review Committee. I will ask each of you to say your names. We'll have a roll call.
I'm Quinn Peterson on the committee.
James Hall, and I don't have any conflicts on this project.
Bruce Fallon, and I don't have any conflicts.
Okay, thank you. Although this is a public hearing, only the presenters and those invited by the committee may speak or ask questions. Unless otherwise invited by the chair, please wait to speak until called on. When speaking, please be sure to speak into the microphone so that the recording is clear. Please state your name and city of residence for the record. Please limit side conversations as they interfere with the audio recording. If you need to have a side conversation, please step out of the chambers. Please do not attempt to interrupt or speak over people. Intimidating or threatening speech or behavior will not be tolerated. Please refrain from clapping, cheering, booing, or being otherwise disruptive during the hearing. So now, okay, so you will have 15 minutes for your presentation. When your time is up, you will hear a ding and the microphone will be muted. Following your presentation, if we have questions, we will invite you to come forward at that time. So you may come forward. Who is the presenter?
Hello, my name's Mary. We haven't met before, but I'm one of the newer planners of Provo City. Do we have a clicker? Okay, sounds good. All right. Do you want to click to the first slide then? And the next one. Perfect.
Pardon?
Why don't you read that?
Oh, thank you. You can tell I haven't done this before. Okay, item 1, Ryan McCoard requests design review approval for 2 new flex industrial warehouses in the AI Airport Industrial Zone. It's a Provo Bay Neighborhood.
Perfect. Thanks so much. All right, so just a little quick overview of the area. You can see it outlined in red there on your screens. Like you said, this is a Provo Bay neighborhood at 3155 West Center Street. A rezone was approved on this property last year in August from the agricultural zone it used to be into the now current airport industrial zone. A concept plan was also approved at that time by the Planning Commission, showing warehouses, about 4 warehouses on the property. Since then, the applicant has consolidated that into only 2 warehouses. Warehouses are a permitted use in this zone. And then one other thing just to make you aware is that this property falls into the West Center Street design corridor. So there's a few elevated requirements that we'll have to go through today. All right, so first a quick little site plan just to orient you. That's Center Street on the left for me side of the screen, and then Lakeshore Drive up the top. Building 1 is facing Center Street. Building 2 faces Lakeshore Drive. Building 1 has 8 units. Building 2 has 12 units. So there's also storefronts on the interior sides of the buildings as well. Let's see. Just wanted to quickly talk about traffic circulation on the lot, just the accesses. There's one from Center Street, one from Lakeshore Drive, of course, and then there's a third one at the bottom of your screens going towards the property to the west. If you can see here, see if this, it's kind of a strange spotlight, but right there is okay, perfect. Yes, I like that one way more. So right there is it's an agriculturally zoned property with no residences on it at the moment. It's got like a few accessory buildings. The future land use plan shows that as airport related as well. So in the future, it's going to be something quite similar to what's being presented today. Therefore, that access is being provided at this time, future planning for that, eventual development. So with this development, I'll just say, there'll be Jersey barriers there until other development happens on that property to the west. And then just quickly, this the coverage requirement is no more than 60%, and these buildings cover 33% of the property, so they're in compliance with that coverage requirement. All right, going into the landscaping, there's like 1,000 landscaping requirements that they had to meet, which they met all of them, which is wonderful. First, going into the West Center Street design corridor requirements, obviously that section of the code requires a lot of landscaping along Center Street, including a 4-foot berm. Let's see how many trees. So a 4-foot berm, 12 shade trees, 11 smaller trees, and 56 shrubs are all within that front area, including, you can see the parkway strip as well, which has 14 trees. So a lot of landscaping on the front, but that's, part of the West Center Street design corridor is trying to highlight the importance of aesthetics and beauty along the corridor, and landscaping is a big part of that. So quite a lot of landscaping, but again, that's what was required. Let's see. Just on building 2 on this side, I wanted to talk about down here. So here's Lakeview Parkway coming up. If you've ever driven it, it's kind of when you're turning, but you would have a pretty clear view of this building. This is the side of the building where there's the loading dock right there. So maybe not the prettiest side of the building, and there's no entrances there because there's just no way to kind of make that work. So we required, it says in the landscaping code that, let's see, evergreen trees are the best for screening and buffering. So you can see there's 4 limber pines right here that we asked the applicant to add. There's also 3 Norway maples, which are slightly bigger trees. Then there's I think it's called a coffee tree, Kentucky coffee tree, and then 2 more maple trees right there to try and help screen the back of the building. This part of the building will have storefronts and everything, but just to screen that loading dock area, we wanted to make sure there was adequate trees there. Also, requires detention and retention basins to be landscaped. It is landscaped. It's in that triangle corner in the back there. The A1 zone requires 15 trees per acre, which comes out to 109 trees total. The applicant has provided.
I just want to remind me your name.
Mary.
Mary.
Mhm.
I am okay. Well, we don't have anything to do with landscaping, right? We do? Okay, awesome.
I'll make it really quick.
No.
Okay. Okay. Basically, it far outpaces the parking lot landscaping standards. It meets the perimeter parking lot landscaping standards. One important thing is the transitional landscaping buffer standards from incompatible uses. If you remember, on the east side here are all these residential homes. This is future land use plan says it's going to stay residential. So something that was really important for us to look at is how to make sure we screen these warehouses from these residential homes. So the landscape buffer code requires, and that's just on that top section. The landscape buffer code requires a 10-foot buffer with 1 tree per 25 feet with a shrub hedge. Instead, the applicant provided, I have the exact numbers, a 20+ foot landscape buffer with 37 trees and 215 shrubs. So again, far outpacing what's required and really making sure that those residents to the east have adequate buffer there. On the west, as mentioned, the west property will most likely be something very similar, so we didn't really require any buffering there. But there's still about 13 trees and like 98 shrubs coming in with the perimeter parking lot landscaping standards. All right, moving on to what we're really here for. So design. This is for building 1. The primary entrances are on the North Center Street elevation. You can see that right there. The building materials are primarily masonry, and they have ground floor storefronts as required in the Center Street Design Corridor Code. And each side has architectural detailing, and materials are broken up at least every 50 feet. The requirement is every 60 feet. The first floor commercial is required to be 40% transparent along primary streets, and that Center Street is a official primary street in the code. So the transparent glazing on the North Center Street elevation is, it says it 44.82% or something like that. And then it's required to be 30% on secondary street facades. So that East Lake Shore elevation is 32.90%. Right, moving on. So here's some renderings and the floor plans for building 1. I just wanted to point out here that the only lighting in the project, there won't be any parking lot lighting. The only lighting will be building mounted, directed downward security lighting. That's to help reduce, again, there's like tons of trees on this site, which will hopefully try to, keep light into the property, but that's to help reduce light and effect on the surrounding neighbors. Let's see. Oh, also building height, just quickly. The maximum allowed building height is 35 feet. From the grade to the top of the parapets on those entrances, it's about 30 feet. And to put that in perspective, a single family home in this area is also allowed to go up to 35 feet. So it's kind of the same requirement for scale. I'm not saying that everything is 35 feet, but it's the same requirement. All right, so building 2, kind of the same thing, but a little bit longer because it has those 12 units. Facing Lakeshore Drive, again, that requirement was 30%. They've actually provided of transparent glazing, so windows, doors, that kind of thing. They've provided 49.67%, which is far outpaces the requirement, but it makes it look really good and a little bit more welcoming, I would say. Let's see. So one last thing is that so here's the final rendering of building 2. Only flat roofs with decorative parapets are permitted upon DRC and Planning Commission review. It's what it says. So if you have any questions about flat roofs, feel free to let me know. That's going to be one of the conditions of approval for Planning Commission next week. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Any questions?
Is it 2-story?
Yeah, so you can see, I'll show you here. So this is a floor plan for building 1. So it's got this warehouse space and there's these offices, and then the offices are 2-story,
Upstairs.
but not the actual warehouse. And then for this, they have offices, and then above they'll have unfinished storage space for future tenants to improve as they would like. And that's on building 2.
I have another question. So where is it in relation to Sparks? Has all those storage units down there?
Is that the one near the lake?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
This is the applicant, Ryan. So. Oh, Ryan said that it was about a mile away.
My question is the question of materiality, just the colors aren't labeled between the 2 different types of CMU. One just says smooth face and the other one's ebony gray and looks like a split face. Are they the same color, just the different texture?
Do you want to come up? Yeah.
My understanding is that they're 2 different colors. And so you have the inside where it says signage. That's going to be that smooth face. And then the ebony is going to be the darker stuff that you see on those elevations.
Okay. I mean, that's graphically how it reads. It's just not labeled
sure,
to
yeah.
confirm that. So I wanted to
And we
make
can
sure
do
I
that
understood
next
that.
on our plans.
Can you tell us what the band is made out of materially too?
I think that's going to be that CMU smooth face as well.
Okay.
We will now open the hearing to public comments. If there are any neighborhood. Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't let you finish.
No, you're good.
Okay, after this. You will have 15 minutes for your presentation. When your time is up, you will hear a ding and a microphone will be muted. Following the presentation, if you have questions, we will invite you to come forward at that time.
Not a whole lot to add from what Mary was. Oh, no, you're good. Yes. Okay. My name's Ryan McCoard. I'm the applicant here. Not a whole lot to say, more than what Mary said. When the general plan map got changed, we saw this piece of our property. We run the greenhouse down there, and Lakeshore Parkway, I don't know, the big new road that the city put in really separated this piece from the rest of our piece. And so it was no longer feasible for us to put greenhouses on this property. And so, and we've had people, you know, big, huge developers come to us and say, hey, we'd love to build these for you, you know, for, you know, the equity you have in the land. But we thought, you know, hey, we can do this ourselves. And so this is what we're doing. We're doing it ourselves. Mary's been awesome to work with. It's been really, really good. The landscaping, we butted heads a little bit because, as you can see along that design corridor, there's a lot of trees. There's a lot going on in there. And so, but I think we came to a spot that we can all be happy about. And so that's all I have.
Turn it on. Okay, now we as a committee will discuss it and then come back. What?
Is now public comment?
Oh, is there anyone has any public comment? Okay, now as a committee, we will discuss it.
Maybe just a quick clarifying question for Mary or Mr. McCord. This North Center Street elevation is the second one here, right? That has the frontage and the signage, just confirming.
All right, sorry. Are you asking what?
Just clarifying that the second elevation from the top is the one that faces Center Street.
Yes, sorry, I should have probably
No, it's totally
done it
fine.
better. But yes, that's the one that faces Center Street. If the little caption below is relating to the elevation above.
Perfect. And a follow-up question. This does meet, I assume, the Center Street guidelines for the building facing, having an entrances onto Center Street, right?
Yes,
Cool.
yes, it does. Okay, perfect.
I don't really have any comment. I think it complies and looks, you know, reasonably good. So for a warehouse, you're gonna have to take it for what it is. I do want to commend you on your presentation, though. I really liked the specificity and the detail. So great job, Mary.
So is this McCord's, the greenhouses, that
Mhm.
property? Okay, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yep. And
Okay.
so, yeah, like I said, we decided to do something different with this piece.
It sounds like you've really taken into consideration the neighbors because there are a lot of homes right there. So,
Yeah, for sure. And my dad actually lives in one of those houses right there.
okay.
And so, yeah. And with these buildings, I don't know if you guys have been farther down towards the airport. I think Beankeeper Row is there right now, but in one of those buildings, feel bad because they almost look exactly like those buildings. And so we don't anticipate a whole lot of traffic, right? But we do, I think that they're flex units, right? So people can have storefronts in them, but I don't anticipate a whole lot of truck traffic or anything like that. The most you'd have is FedEx or UPS dropping off.
Would we be ready to make motions now?
Well, I was going to ask Mary, you said that there's an element for planning commission consideration that we need to include in our motion. Can you explain that so we understand it? Because I'm not sure I picked up on it.
All good. So the Center Street Design Corridor Code says that flat roofs, it says something like they would prefer gabled roofs, but flat roofs are permitted with basically permission from the Design Review Committee and Planning Commission. So it was added as a as a, what is it called? Condition of approval for planning commission for next week. So it'd be great if you're okay with that flat roof, that I can tell them, hey, the DRC said that's fine.
Okay.
Good. I'll make a motion then that we recommend approval of the project as submitted with the exception allowed for the use of flat roofs for this particular location along West Center Street.
And I would second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay. So I don't think we have any further business, and I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do we? Okay. Cool.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Thanks.
Aye.
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 Yeah.